See.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Stateside Market Report with Bryant Naylor and Tim Robinson. I have cool lights. Bryant does not because he had a waterfall in his basement and office. Bryant, how are you?
I'm doing great, Tim. Besides, I don't have any lights.
Poor little guy. Look at him. He's
That's
so
all
sad.
right. Your lights are looking great today.
They're getting there, man. I'm not up to your level yet, but we're trying. We're just trying to keep it entertaining. I got
Although
lights
I
over
thought you were
here.
a Commanders fan. That looks like Ravens type colors you got going on back there. Just
Oh,
throwing it out there. Sorry.
no, I
Yeah.
mean, that's unacceptable. This is going to be remedied
Yeah.
immediately. Let me see if I can find my internet. We're going to change that while we talk about real estate. So, Brian, what are you seeing in the market? We're going to do a market update. So, actually, let me do a little introduction. Brian and I have been doing this for a while. We're going to try to get a little more structured in our analysis, and we're going to do a different segment of what we're looking at every week. So, week one, this is not week one, but it's been a weird month. We're going to start this week with a market update. We're going to do one segment on investing. So that'll be next week. One segment on kind of the buying and selling process, what we're seeing, what we're using strategically to help our clients buy and sell. And then one on just kind of tips and tricks in the industry. Whether it be contract loopholes, bidding tips and tricks, listing tips and tricks, all these kind of things that we do for our clients. We're going to peel back the curtain and show you what we do to kind of help you navigate this difficult and still insanely competitive market. So this week, let's do a little market report, a little market update. Bryant, you want to kick us off while I try to get rid of the Ravens colors?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the market's pulled back a little bit. We're seeing houses sit on the market just a little bit longer, not a whole lot, and a little bit less competition. People are still getting multiple offers, houses priced right. There you go. There you go.
Better.
Much better, much
All
better.
right.
Uh, even what do you got? Changing colors
I'm
now?
trying to get
Is it just
burgundy. I'm trying to get burgundy and or gold to show that I'm still a Commanders fan, but
there you go. There you get that. Oh, there you
yeah, it's good enough. All right, go for it. Let's talk.
go. I don't remember what I was saying, Tim. I'm distracted by all your lights.
Market update.
Yeah, houses are sitting a little bit longer. There's still competition in certain price points, and that's when things get different. We have different price points where there's less or more competition. A lot of the times when you see in the media, you see in the newspapers, you see on TV that people talk about just houses are not selling or houses are selling really quickly. Well, if you start breaking it down into smaller sections of price
Yeah,
points for the area, you start seeing a different story completely. Like it's right, like a condo,
100%.
like a $500,000 condo. Compare that to a $1 million single family home. There's a difference in how quickly those are selling. So overall in this area, we are seeing a lot of competition in certain price points for good houses and good neighborhoods. And we are also seeing houses that are in certain price points, in certain condition, in certain neighborhoods, not selling at all. They're
Right.
sitting on the market for a long time. So it really is market dependent and price point dependent.
Totally. And like, I couldn't agree more with everything you said. Like, it is, I get, as realtors, we get the question from folks that don't know us or, small talk at parties, like, how's the market? I can't even answer that.
Mm-mm.
Like it is so location dependent. It is asset class dependent. It is price point dependent. I mean, to the neighborhood almost right now. Like, there are specifically in Colombia, we have a couple clients that have just bought investment properties in Colombia. We can talk about this more on the investing side. White hot, could not be more competitive. I mean, for a two bed, two bath, 900 square foot, nicely renovated condo, eight, nine offers within 2 days. People are escalating. People are doing cash only. People are waiving contingencies, just like it's 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It really is. And then you go to like New Carrollton and find like a $120,000 condo in decent condition. It could sit for 3 weeks without an offer. And that's on the investment side. Primary, Germantown, white hot, like insanely so. Like, we made an incredible offer 3 weeks ago for a client, cash over asking, like zero contingencies, lost.
Oh my gosh.
That would have worked anywhere else in Maryland right now,
Mhm.
But this very specific neighborhood, very nice asset, just everyone wants it. And there's so few. It all goes back to scarcity. Like, people
Yep.
have, especially for primary residences, people know exactly where they want to live. They've been waiting for that neighborhood forever. There's very few that come up. And when they do, they're willing to do whatever it takes to get that house. And it makes it incredibly difficult. Further out from DC, it gets a little less competitive, you know. So it is very like it is impossible to say how's the market. This area in particular is just microcosms within the market itself, where it's just incredibly different over here. Over here, sure, let's make a low offer, you
Yeah.
know, and it depends on condition. It depends on how long it's been sitting. It depends on what the seller, I mean, real estate is always about a win-win. What does the seller really want and need? What does the buyer really want and need and willing to give? And like that varies depending on the situation. And that's what a good agent does, is kind of has that conversation and tries to make it a win-win. So it's not just, you know, throwing things against the wall to see what sticks. Um, 30,000 foot view, market's still incredibly hot. Mortgage rates should have slowed it down drastically. They have not. They have across different markets in the country, but in DC, like status quo. It is still very, very competitive. It's still very hard to get a house. We are getting houses. But just to set expectations, interest rates have not slowed things down. Um, in my everyday life, they just really haven't. So I'm gonna shut up. What do you think, Brian?
No, I agree. I think if people are everybody's got to move at some point, right? People have to move, whether, not everybody has to move. So like it was the last few years when even people that didn't have to move, they were moving anyways or refinancing because the
Right.
rates were so low and houses were like so well priced. But now it's just the people that have to move actually have. So there is movement in the market. Always going to be movement in the market. Um, uh, you said something I was going to elaborate on. I can't remember what it was now though.
We'll let it slide.
Yeah, I guess so. Uh, but yeah, I think maybe in one of these, maybe the next update we do, we will actually pull up we'll actually just bring some numbers and show
Sure.
like, the Fairfax, Arlington, Alexandria, a couple of these different counties on our side, and then you on your side, and just kind of go over the numbers a little bit to show people. Because like you said, hot market, Springfield and Burke, $500,000 townhomes or $800,000 single family houses. You can't even. I mean, people. Oh, that's what I was going to say. A lot of times you're competing against people in these hot neighborhoods that have lost out on five or six
Right.
houses, and
Right.
they're to this point where they're like, I'm not losing again. Like
Right.
I will, I've lost enough. I will
This
get
is
this
the
house.
one.
And
Right.
then
Yep.
those are the people, yeah, those are the people you're competing against. So they're crazy people. They'll do anything for the house and will advise you
Yeah.
not to try to compete with them because they're getting to this point where they're going $100,000 over asking or so. They're going to be underwater on that house for 10 years before
Yep.
they're in, but that's fine with them because they're going to be there for a long time. And
Exactly.
it's really the strategy. If you're going to be here for a while, you're going to hold on to this asset. Paying over asking price is not that bad of an idea.
Nope.
It isn't.
It's not.
You shouldn't be worried about that. But if you're only going to hold on to it for 4 or 5 years, don't, because you're not going to come out ahead. That's kind of the point we're trying to get across to some of our clients. Like, you have to look at the long game here as well. It needs to play into your strategy.
Yeah. No, and that's a great point, Brian. Like it is, again, it's all situational awareness. It's different. This is not a one size fits all business. There are people, and I absolutely agree, like this is going to be my home. I do not plan on moving. I don't care if I'm underwater because I know the appreciation is going to take care of that over the next 10, 15 years. It literally doesn't matter. And we are not going to beat those folks. People that are like, I'm only going to live there for 2 years until I go back to post overseas. Don't do that. You know, it's a different situation. You're playing a different game. You know, there's a book
Right.
called The Psychology of Money, by Morgan Housel, and he talks about like know what game you're playing. You know, if you're, oh, it might be back there. There you go. I got it back there somewhere.
I have
But
it
it's a
somewhere.
brilliant book, and it's like, you know, people are changing the rules of the game, and you need to know what game you're playing. If you're playing the game where I will pay whatever it takes because I want that school district, I want that neighborhood park, I want my kids to go there. There you go. Um, those are different rules than someone's like, I really want a nice place to live for 2 years before I go back to Brussels. That's a different game. Don't try to play the same game with the same rules because it won't work. All right, we're gonna get too deep on that, man. I'm trying to cut it off at 8 minutes. That was 8 minutes of just think about that, listeners. Think about the psychology of money. Pick up the book. He doesn't pay us, but maybe if he watches this someday, he will. That'd be cool. We get some. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Is
I've
he
tried to have
alive?
him on the podcast. He's like, thanks, but no
Or
thanks.
Morgan
I'm like,
Housel?
I tried. Anyways, yeah, so just talk to your agent and just say what's going on here. This is where I'm looking. And you know, there are no hard and fast rules. It's very specific to where you're looking. No set expectations. Know what you're looking, know what you're getting into, know how far you're willing to go, and don't go beyond that. So food for thought. Market update. Market's hot. I'm sick of saying that. Market's hot. The Fed keeps trying to break the system. Interest rates are through the roof, historically average. But as of spoiled over the past 15 years, very, very high. People still need to move, like you said.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. It's a new reality.
Yeah,
People are looking to buy
new
houses,
normal.
but it's also caused the rental market to go crazy too. I have a couple clients that are looking for rentals and we can't find one.
Can't get a
We're
rental.
just people are putting $200-$300 a month over the monthly asking price for these rentals, and I'm trying to explain that to clients like, yeah, you're gonna have to offer them more money to get this place, and it's kind of a weird concept.
Escalation on leases.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
insane.
this is
Yeah,
where
so
we
that's
are.
where we're at, right?
Good
Exactly.
time to be a
In
landlord.
certain areas, though.
In certain area, again, in certain areas, 100%. All right, we've gone over time. Thank you guys for
Okay.
tuning in to another episode of Stateside Market Report with Tim and Bryant. We will be back next week with some investment talk. We talked a little investment this time on accident, but whatever. It's going to get a little blurry on the lines as we start this new system. So until next week, please share this with a friend, subscribe. Let us know if you have any questions in the comments. Our contact information should be below the video if Bryant did that, because I don't know how to do it. Reach out to us, give us a call. We'll talk you through some real estate things. Until next time, I'm Tim Robinson. Bryant.
See you guys next time. We got to get that figured out.
It's perfect. We're leaving it all in. Thanks, guys.
Bye.